Nothing on this show is authorized by the Food and Drug Administration, and nothing said here is intended to treat, cure, prevent, or diagnose any disease. Contact your physician before starting a diet or exercise regimen, including supplementation. This is not medical advice and is for entertainment purposes only.
I don't want to set the world.
I love these shitty microphones. It makes it sound so much more authentic.
Yeah. Just want to start.
Well, Joey, I believe this is the soundtrack to the last thing we started together. I think this is the same thing we were listening to, which is a great soundtrack, by the way.
For all you out there who haven't played Fallout, you're really missing out on the greatest soundtrack in any video game that there is.
Yeah, very creepy.
Very creepy, but you know, it's retro. It's a steampunky kind of thing.
It's also your vibe, just in general, because all the songs are about, you know,
the end of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
So what's up, Joey?
We've been off for a week.
We have been off for a week. It was like a mad dash 5 weeks of just craziness. First, it was the start of the year, which is just kind of crazy.
How many guests have we had on?
4.
4.
Yeah, there was 5. We've done 5 podcasts, but we've had 4 guests.
Okay.
We had Ben.
Yes.
And then we had, man, it's such a blur. Who was after Ben? Who was guest 2?
Was it Travis?
Travis.
Was Travis number 2?
No, Travis was number 3.
I thought he was number 3. Who the fuck?
Marcus.
Ben, Marcus, Travis, Matt, and Josh. We've had 5 guests. We've done 6 episodes.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah. I thought we did more than that. It was like we've taken a little, like we took 1 week off. I was at a conference in California.
Yeah.
And I I was just so tired because you're just go the whole time.
Yeah. People don't really understand, like, when you're out here doing this damn thing, like, we're here on Friday night. It's 9 almost. And I'm an hour and a half away from my home. So whenever,
be a long ride back.
like I don't think you guys realize the commitment we put into this damn thing. Not only do we put in a full week of work individually, which we have some stuff to talk about that, but then we come and do this, and then this is an investment. You know, obviously we have to spend the money. Eduardo's here; he's putting in the time. Blair's here on the camera over here; she's putting in the time,
making our studio look good.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
even though this is not our studio, but we'll get to that later.
We'll get to that. You're probably wondering why. Is it a change of setting?
And these microphones, they sound very different.
Yeah, I like ours better.
I do too.
Yeah. So, so first of all, let's talk about your conference. Like, where'd you go?
Fuck.
What was it all about?
All right. So I plugged this through like the last couple of different episodes we did.
Hold on. I gotta do a desktop. Oh. See, it doesn't sound as good here. Yeah, get one, Eduardo. Get one, boy.
Get that one in you. Get that one in you, Eduardo.
Shout out Lost and Found. Thank you for supplying the energy drinks.
The official energy drink of the Supworks podcast.
All right.
So I was at NUTRA Ingredients USA, their sports and active nutrition conference, which is like Supply Side West is what. All right. So there's multiple different expos, conferences, conventions, whatever. There are 2 different tiers that I would consider to what I would be the Super Bowl of supplements. Okay. Mm-hmm. One of those is the Arnold. Mm-hmm. And we are going to go there next week.
But that's more customer facing.
I know, but I'm just saying that when it comes to Super Bowls of supplements, like if you haven't gone to the Arnold, like you can go to the Olympia, it's pretty impressive. Mm-hmm. But the Arnold is a whole different beast because not only is it a bodybuilding show and an expo, but they've got like cheerleading competitions, arm wrestling, judo tournaments, all these other like real physical activities that are going on the sides. And it's just, it is literally what they call a sports festival.
Yeah. It is much bigger in regards to people and also turnout of the exhibitors.
Goddamn, there's so many people.
Where like the Olympia, which is cool, it's more of like your hardcore bodybuilding type like brands that show up to that one.
Yeah. Whereas, like that is the official like Super Bowl of bodybuilding, but it's not the Super Bowl of supplements.
Right.
So I think Arnold is the consumer-facing show Super Bowl of supplements. The other one I would consider to be like the insider industry is Supply Side West. However, there's another one, which is Expo West.
Expo West.
And we will be going to both the Arnold. What is it? Is it really next week?
Next weekend.
My fuck. Okay, we're going to the Arnold next week. We're going to be taking the show on the road with us. We're going to be interviewing all kinds of different people. And we've got a whole angle that we're going to do with that.
Yep. We've got a plan, sort of. It's a loose one, but we got one.
And then 2 weeks after that, we're going to the other Super Bowl, Expo West, which is gargantuan, which actually dwarfs the two that I was talking about. It dwarfs the Arnold and Supply Side West because it's such a massive, like multi-exhibit hall, giant expo.
It's Natural Products Expo West, right?
Yes, the Natural Products Expo West in Anaheim.
So that's not just really supplements. That's like anything in natural CPG.
Yeah, that's like your organic pistachio bars and, you know, random stuff like that. If you want
Coconut water.
yeah,
beverage.
or coconut fiber powder
Or protein Cheetos.
or straight up witchcraft,
Straight up witchcraft.
organic,
Yeah.
non-GMO witchcraft.
And like fish chips.
If you want fish chips, algae chips, any kind of weird thing that you wouldn't think could be made into a chip, they probably have it in a chip there.
They've chipped it. Will it chip? Or beverage.
That's a
They've
good
beveraged
game.
it too. I
Yeah.
bet.
Yeah. Would you like some kelp water? Would you like some energy kelp? Would you like kelp with probiotics? Like it's that kind of thing.
Yeah. But it's huge.
Yeah.
I'm excited because I've never been.
Me
and I
neither.
think it's like, you know, just saying from our perspective at Nutramedia, it's like the next step is to really, we've done the sports nutrition thing.
Yeah.
I feel like we've kind of carved out a little bit of a niche. And now there's other people kind of coming in doing it. And I just think it's where we've become a big fish in a small pond. And I kind of think the pond is like, I think we're kind of outgrowing it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's just many more things you could do.
Yeah.
Obviously I've not conquered the world of seaweed chips yet. And
No.
you know, that's on the list.
No.
I'm getting to it.
No. You will. You will. You will. There's a lot of things I still want to do. And I think there's a lot of things that you still want to do.
I was literally watching documentaries about harvesting kelp and how it's done like 2 nights ago at my house, just because I was like, I'm really thinking about getting into this. And like, how could you like climate control, you know, grow some kelp? And there's a whole operation. Apparently the kelp industry is boomed, and really it's for pet food and for minerals and for all kinds of other stuff.
Isn't that where Aquaman comes from?
It is where Aquaman comes from. And there's a way to breed kelp in captivity. You grow them on like strands of kite string, and then you wrap that kite string on ropes and you just throw it out of your boat in the ocean, and it grows kelp on it. And you have like floats on it, kind of like Deadliest Catch, how they have like those floats and you got to hook them and like bring it to the ship. And then all of a sudden you're reeling in all these crabs. Same thing, but with kelp.
But you just let the ocean do its thing.
You let the ocean do its thing. And it's like aquaculture. It's like farmland in the ocean.
That's cool. I bet you're really into that, aren't you?
I'm just trying to figure it out.
Have you ever actually farmed anything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like chickens for sure.
Well, you grew up on a farm.
Yes.
People don't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. I was a farm kid.
Yeah.
Pigs, chickens. At one point we had two speckled caiman, which are like crocodilians.
Is that why you're into cold-blooded animals?
I'm into everything, man.
Yeah, you're into weird shit, period.
Yeah.
We can vouch that. Your girlfriend's here today. Liz, she's over here listening.
Shout out to you, honey. But anyway, so
God bless you. God bless you.
yes. Back to the story. Like, all right, so I was at this conference in San Diego.
Yeah.
And what I would like to summarize it as, it is like the best sports nutrition people in like those groups that you would find at Supply Side West, really industry insiders, not a lot of consumers, because they deliberately make like the tickets to go like ridiculously expensive. And
What's the point? Like, what's the point of the convention? Is it like educational?
it's really networking and educational. So they bring all these people together just to get different people to talk, different contract manufacturers, to different ingredient suppliers, to different brands. Some people are just general industry consultants and stuff that are running around this place. But it was like a lot of the people I knew from supply side. So I was like, oh, hey, you know, it's one of those kinds of things. And it was really nice because I got to catch up with a lot of people I hadn't seen in a really long time, in like 10 years long time, and just, you know, really get an idea of like what they're doing, interesting ways that, you know, maybe we could collaborate. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it really kicked off with like industry trends, and this kind of it was an interesting contrast that we did compared to our first episode, because their main things were creatine. That creatine is just being so huge this year, I guess, because of TikTok.
Yeah. This episode is brought to you by our good friends over at Lost and Found Energy Drink. Lost and Found has just blown up in the marketplace as of recently. They're also a big international brand. Well, we helped them design their cans, which was a great experience for us here at Nutramedia. But really, what I want to talk about mostly about these guys, one is that they're just absolutely delicious. It's at 150 milligrams, which is like the perfect amount for me, but all the flavors absolutely kill. If you haven't tried these yet, you absolutely need to. They're starting to pop up everywhere. You can get them at Walmart. I think we got these new cans at Walmart. You can also buy them at Vitamin Shop. They're absolutely delicious. They're easy drinkers. They come in multiple flavors. The branding's awesome, and the people that are behind it are absolutely incredible. Some of my favorite people on the planet. One of our absolute OG brands when we started Nutramedia. It's been with us since early days of Nutramedia. Can't say enough about these people behind this brand and this product. They sponsor this podcast. They give us these drinks for every single one. And I think you guys would really enjoy trying them if you haven't yet. And if you have, just go double down, go buy some more, go tag them at Found Energy. If you can, go and get you some Lost and Found. And thank you guys over at LNF. Fast and loud.
The hydration category, which was one thing that we did talk about, also being very huge because of Prime, because everyone jumping into that whole category. Women being on the rise of all sports nutrition purchases.
Yeah.
That more women and more women and more women are buying sports nutrition products, and the fact that more products need to be catered toward women, that quote pink it and shrink it model, pink it and shrink it, make it more expensive, is not going to work, because like women are going to want to start products. They're going to want to buy products that work, that are designed for women, that take into account like hormonal cycles and all this other stuff. Like, am I on birth control? Am I not on birth control? And how does that affect my monthly hormonal fluctuations?
Yeah, we've seen a little bit of that on our end.
It's crazy, but they're not.
I think you're
going
to see more like women owners kind of enter the space
for sure, because there's no way that there's going to be like one size fits all. And so that was like their main trends. Other trends were Ozempic, like Ozempic and things that work like Ozempic. We
talked about that.
Yeah. We did.
Episode 1.
And that's like what this kind of recap is about. It's like, how accurate were they? Now, some oddball stuff I found is that desire in the market for both nicotine and psilocybin now are outpacing cannabis.
I can definitely see that with like the Zens, the Rogues. I like my Rogues.
But psilocybin, where'd you come from?
I mean, I think a lot of people are kind of like catching it with a side eye, being like, I'd try that.
Is this generational?
I don't know. It's like in small doses.
Our parents would have told us to go fuck ourselves, and now look at us.
Dude, I don't know about maybe your parents. My parents be like, I'll try that.
Well, probably now.
Yeah.
Like, I guess society is like loosened up. We're like, no, so we've decided that psilocybin is okay. It might fuck you up a little bit, but hey, go for it.
Well, if you put it in like little capsules.
Microdose.
Yeah. Like it's a lot more digestible. Kind of like Ozempic when you put it in this like cartridge thing.
Sure.
It's like, it's still a needle.
As long as it's like a proper consumer packaged good. It's harmless, right?
Yeah.
I guess you're right.
It's like what they did with the weed cartridges for a while until everyone started getting really freaking sick.
Yeah.
Because of isopropylene and stuff.
So yeah, there's that was Scott Dicker from Spins, and that was his presentation. I love watching his stuff because it's just interesting to like get in touch with like the pulse of the market.
Yeah.
Versus, the crazy shit I'm dreaming up.
Especially from the data side.
Yeah. So that moved over from that data into like new perspectives based on the economy and how a lot of shoppers that are trying to buy supplements, they're being a lot more price conscious. And which is nice because it's alluding to where there's like more of an educated consumer now. So there's a possibility that if they're being this price conscious, they're going to look at how many servings they're getting. They're going to look at the dosages that they're getting, and they're going to look a little bit more into like, okay, if I buy this creatine, am I getting as many servings and stuff as I am getting this one? And they're going to be doing a lot of that kind of stuff here in 2024.
A lot more like consumer math, more than that's been going on previously.
This is a huge thing where like my dollar store brand really could have taken off this year.
Yeah. I don't know about that idea yet. It may be way ahead of its time.
It is way ahead of its time. It's probably like 5-10 years ahead of
I
its
think the
time.
problem really is just the margins. Like, you know, it's
We're
really
getting there.
freaking expensive to make stuff and nobody really wants to spend that much.
No, but
I mean, people already think that supplements are pretty expensive,
they do.
but they're like okay, not in all cases are they expensive to make, but good supplements are expensive to make.
Yeah.
But they're twice as much to market. They cost twice as much to market. People don't understand that. And then when you put them on different platforms, they nickel and dime every single thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, and just there's so many products that I see out there that are just complete trash and they're like $80.
Yeah, but they cost like $4 to make.
I reposted this guy that I saw on Instagram probably like 2 days ago, and he's like a scientist and everything, and he pulls up this website, and he's saying the supplements are unregulated and talking shit, and it was really this company. It was like, well, quantum energy healing company, if you will.
Okay.
Yeah, how
It's
much more do I need to say?
You would come up with something like that, but you'd make it real.
Yeah, I would make it real. I wouldn't just claim, oh, this is quantum energy healing. But the problem is that they were claiming that 4 milligrams of astaxanthin was energetically tuned to be like in touch with your body and everything.
Is this like the people who are saying like you get like frequency grounded from like sitting in a chair, and it's like the equivalent to like standing in grass?
If you probably
This is like some crystal stuff.
It's far out.
Yeah.
It's that far out. But they're charging $69.99 for 4 milligrams, 30 servings of astaxanthin, and that's like highway robbery because you can get like Pilgrim's Pride brand over here, 12 milligrams, 60 caps for like $20.
Yeah, go for that.
You know, they just don't even talk about the energy healing. They're literally using licensing the same trademarked ingredient. So
Just no bullshit angle. No woo woo.
well, woo woo or no woo woo, I mean, like people are going to be aware of this kind of stuff. I think they're gonna see this woo woo. They're gonna see that 4 milligrams of real astaxanthin, and they're gonna find that Pilgrim's Pride has it for 12 milligrams for $20. They're gonna go find Pilgrim's Pride and be like, oh, I'm energetically tuned.
Maybe. I
did
don't know.
my research. I'm energetically tuned anyway. This is actually
There's some people who are just
quite
going to
more
watch
potent.
like TikTok and just go and buy the thing that because they go for the woo woo. It's all about kind of the attention span too, right?
It could be.
The ability to captivate somebody's attention.
That's a very expensive short attention span.
It's getting more expensive, yeah.
It's going to cost short attention spans will eventually cost money. And I think there's going to be people that do capitalize on that. But I think with the economy like it is in 2024, people are going to be a little bit more price conscious.
Yeah. It's just an election year. So it's just
Oh God.
a lot of people are going to be WTF. It's the same way like in the housing market, gas, right? Energy. I mean, there's food. Yeah, there's so many
It's gonna
segments
be-
that are
Because it's an election year, it's just in general going to be like a psychotic bloodbath of weirdness.
yeah. My price goes up.
I think maybe next year will be a boom year for sure.
I think so too. Yeah, I think we're about to hit the gas running.
So anyway, the next thing that happened, I think I was on stage on 3 different occasions. I was there on stage once for day 2 and then twice on day 3. But day 2 was the panel where we were talking about innovation. And I've never fangirled as hard for a supplement as I did at this conference. Because there was this company a long time ago, or not a long time ago, a few years ago, that came out with this product called Nella, and it was a probiotic. And I'm like, fuck you guys. Because you name this product Nella, and it's a play on words of a specific species of a probiotic that's found in the guts of Kenyan runners. And I've been hunting this bitch down for like 4 years.
Wait, back up.
Yeah. So anyway.
Wait, it's found in the guts of Kenyan.
Can we get like a clip of like the fecal transplant episode of South Park, the spice melange?
I'm sure you can clip it in.
Anyway, so for those of you at home, if you watch South Park, there's an episode where, what is it? Kyle's mom gets a fecal transplant and all of a sudden she feels so energetic. And then people start trying to steal her poop because they want to feel energetic and everything. And they're just going to do DIY at home fecal transplants. And then
Are you saying this came to life? This is true?
let me come full circle on this. So in the episode of South Park, long story short, they start going after like Tom Brady and trying to obtain Tom Brady's poop, only to find that Tom Brady's got this like elaborate library of his own turds in his own house in his basement. It's because he's afraid of everyone trying to come get his poop, right? So he hides it and he hoards it, and they call it the spice, like in Dune.
Liz, does he have that? Is there like a closet over?
He knows about the spice.
Yeah, is there like
I should start keeping it, shouldn't I? Anyway, so I hated this company because they named this product thing Nella. It was supposed to be named after Vianella atypica, which is this really cool probiotic, and it's found inside the guts of like Olympic Kenyan runners. And when you think you're yourself like, oh, Olympic Kenyan runners, those guys, they can fucking run.
Yeah.
They can fucking run a lot and they can fucking win running.
I think generally a lot of people agree with that.
Yeah. Gold medalists all the way around. You want to look at people who can fucking run. Kenyans got it going on. And it's allegedly because they have this bacteria in their gut. So naturally, I was hunting for this thing.
This has nothing to do with DNA?
No, not yet.
Okay.
So anyway,
You're the mad scientist, not me.
we're sitting there and I'm all like grumbling in my seat. And then like Steve Jobs at a fucking Apple conference, they hit the next slide. They fucking have it. And it's called Vanilla. And I'm like heads exploding, like that Vince McMahon, like meme, like I'm losing it.
Were you waiting on it?
Oh my God. I like, if there was anyone that presentation was aimed at, it was fucking me. Cause I was sitting in my chair losing it, making jokes with like Rachel Jones, like head of product development at GNC. Like, it's the spice melange. And like, she'd seen the episode of South Park. So she's back there like, oh my God, you're fucking hilarious. And like, I was like, this is it. This is the thing. And I ended up like being so lucky. Like I got to meet like both of the co-founders later on at that conference. And I'm like, you have no idea. You have no idea how fucking cool I think this is. And I don't know if anyone else here knows how cool this is.
Why do you think it's so cool?
Because, man, like, not only is it cool because, like, you know, if there was a possibility of changing your microbiome to match that of like the Kenyan runners, to like assimilate some of their mana, if you will, to harness some of that power, that would be a really cool thing.
Sure.
But you know what else?
What would that do, just to a layman? Like what? Like how does that work?
So the mechanism of how it works is this bacteria lives inside the gut and it converts lactic acid from like your fatigued muscles and turns it into another fuel source called propionic acid. It's a short chain fatty acid that gets reabsorbed in the colon, and it's literally like getting a second wind. It's like taking all this waste product stuff from the energy you burnt previously and then taking it and converting it into a new energy source and like putting it back on the fire.
Like reconstituting your...
It's like getting a second wind over and over and over again.
Oh, man.
And they had fucking samples, TK.
Did they?
Yeah.
How did you test it?
Oh, I've been on that shit ever since.
Oh, really?
Ever since.
How do you feel?
Fucking great.
Yeah?
Yeah. But I want to get me some of that as raw material.
Uh-huh.
I got to find out if they're going to be down to work with me, but I think they will, just because I'm so enthusiastic.
Yeah.
Mostly.
I mean, like, what's the buy-in? I mean, do you know the details yet? Of like,
No, I don't know any of the details yet, and I'm going to find them.
But you got to meet him, you got to talk to him, you got to fangirl a little bit.
Oh, totally. Like nobody. The other thing is there's this guy who's on their board named George Church. Now there's a handful of geneticists in this world that impress me. One of them is Chris Mason because he's trying to integrate tardigrade DNA into people for spaceflight, which is very cool. Radiation protection, all that shit. The other guy is George Church. George Church is from Harvard, and he's a bad motherfucker. When I say bad motherfucker, he has several different biotechnology companies, one of which is Colossal Biosciences. And if you know anything about Colossal Biosciences, it's like Jurassic Park, like literally. They're bringing back from the dead woolly mammoths, dodos, and the Tasmanian tiger. And they have already impregnated an African elephant with the woolly mammoth baby. The problem is it takes another 22 months of gestation before we're going to see this new woolly mammoth get born.
Whoa.
And the plan is they're going to release it in like the Alaskan tundra.
I mean, is it going to be, we don't even know if it's going to be successful or not.
We don't know.
But they're trying.
But the embryo is alive and gestating inside of a donor elephant.
So this cat is
or a surrogate.
This cat who's a part of this science over here is also part of this.
Yes.
So he's into some weird stuff like you.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. But
Totally.
he gets it. Like these guys get that like there's like levels to this game.
Oh, for sure.
Where you need to kind of be willing to sort of throw caution to the wind and just go to straight madness.
Because why not?
That's where innovation comes from.
That's exactly where innovation comes from.
That's why we love you, Joey Savage.
And that was before my presentation. So
Were you partying the whole time or what?
Oh, I was just having a great time.
Yeah?
I was seriously having a great time the entire time.
Well, it's like it's your show, man. And they invited you out there to speak, which is amazing. Good for you.
Yeah. So after me and Rachel are like cracking jokes in the back of the room, like her and I, Roz Bashir from Muscle Tech, and who's the fourth one? Why am I drawing a blank on this? Oh, Rob Wildman, who used to run all product development at Dymatize. Classic guy in the industry. He's made a lot of products. So it's all four of us on stage talking about innovation in general. And the main things that came out of that discussion were the use of AI, which I've already been there, done that. Mm-hmm. Use of peptides, been there, done that. Mm-hmm. The use of...
Didn't you like use AI to make peptides? Didn't you do that?
I mean, I didn't do it, but we were the first ones to commercialize AI discovered peptides into sports nutrition.
Right. So you've just been like thumb on the pulse. You've been watching.
Yeah, I've been championing that shit from the beginning, and everyone called me a fucking idiot when it all started.
Yeah,
and that was like part of the panel discussion. Like, you know, did you get any like kind of pushback about this? I'm like, yeah, everyone thought I was dumb because the stuff comes from fava beans, and the only studies available were in cells and mice. So, you know, I'm over there like, and I'm just like all in on this. And they have no idea, no way of understanding. They're like, there's not even any human studies. This guy's a complete idiot. And I'd been talking to the company that made those peptides, Neuritas, like months and months and months before the launch, like during the launch and everything. So I was really in touch with like where they were in their clinical trial pipeline. So I knew that there were already human studies going on and that there were more human studies planned to go on after that. But I understood the mechanisms. So I was like, yeah, I'm going all in on this. And anyone who hates on me, they're going to eat some shit later on.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I mean, some people have eaten shit and some people have been like, no, I'm going to use that ingredient too.
Well, it's all kind of a gamble. And then you kind of come to find sometimes that some of the stuff is bullshit, but you're pretty good at sniffing it out.
Yeah.
Early.
I mean, I'm just a fan of all of this stuff.
Yeah. You like really...
And I know I definitely
really do love it.
I've got the discernment for what's good and what's not.
Yeah. That's why you're good. So what else happened to this conference? So what was your panel about? You want to get to that?
The panel that I was on was about innovation and ingredients. So I touched on AI, peptides, modulation of the microbiome, which we just talked about with this Kenyan runner thing. And the last thing, I made a very controversial statement that ruffled some feathers, talking about transdermal delivery, like using a skin cream to deliver ingredients to, I don't know, anything that's not your gut. Because if I want to get to my muscles, is it quicker to go here or is it quicker to go all through my gut? You know,
I guess it all depends on how it all breaks down and gets dispersed. And
yeah, I mean, when it comes to that, like you're aiming for the extremities, arms and legs mostly. You know,
so why is this controversial?
Because some people believe that if it doesn't go through the mouth, then it is not a quote unquote dietary supplement. To which I said, I don't fucking care.
So this is a dietary supplement conference, and everyone there is just riding that van.
But there's nothing wrong with like crossing, you know, the divide over into like the cosmeceutical space.
Yeah, you're just trying to push innovation and trying to get people thinking.
Yeah, I mean, if you think if dietary supplements is Wild West with its like lack of regulation, allegedly, which were entirely regulated, cosmeceuticals is way more
unregulated.
Whoa, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they can use natural stuff, botanicals and all this stuff, but they can also use drug compounds and stuff.
That's wild.
And I started like saying, you know, why would you really only choose one route of administration when you can really attack it from both sides? There's transdermal collagen, hyaluronic acid, all that stuff that is available in skin creams, just as well as like supplements we just eat orally. So why wouldn't you try to, you know, burn that candle at both ends in order to get the best results?
With like peptides and things like that.
And people were like, tell us about your skin regimen. And I'm like, the fuck do I need to tell you? It's got peptides.
Yeah.
You know it's good.
Interesting.
Then there was another presentation where it was like startup stars were basically like talking about Glaxox for a startup company and we're doing well. got a little trophy for that. I mean, that was kind of just neat.
Yeah.
And then the last one was about the state of the union of the industry and like the future and what was going to happen or what we thought was going to happen, like on a broad scale. And that conversation, there were like touches of like innovation, but really like the main focus of it was on regulations.
Yeah. So let's go down this rabbit hole. Recently, we've kind of gotten some thrown into the mix of like some more regulatory political things. You know, me, I just try to stay on the, hey, we make labels, we make art, we make media. But coming to find that, like guys like Ben, Price Plow, yourself, in connection with all these people that we know, kind of have a vision for what's going to happen in the future. And there's like a real grassroots thing that's starting to emerge here. So let's talk a little bit more about that.
So I went there with an agenda, and we talked about this on a few different podcasts, especially the one with Ben, where we were talking about how we're going to get involved.
Right.
And I got this wild hair, and I joined a meeting with the Natural Products Association, and they were talking about doing what they can to raise money for their legal defense fund because they wanted to sue the FDA because they were trying to make NMN, a B vitamin, into a drug when it had already been on the market as a B vitamin.
Yeah. And there's all this shit going on in New York and all kinds of like weird.
Well, the shit going on in New York is a completely different deal. You know, that is where they're trying to ban the sales of dietary supplements to anyone that's a minor. Granted that the majority of these products say that they're for people ages 18 and over, which is totally, you know, what's expected.
Right.
But that's not going to stop a high school kid from going and buying creatine at the vitamin shop.
Yeah.
So the idea is that now in the state of New York, if a kid who is in high school, athlete of, you know, what if they're like a senior in high school, they've been taking creatine for, you know, their entire high school athlete career. They want to go into vitamin shop. They haven't turned 18 yet. They're in for another creatine and protein. They have to show ID. And if they're not 18, they get denied the sale.
Interesting.
In addition to that, any orders that are placed on Amazon or anything online, whenever that gets delivered to a household, whoever answers the door needs to show ID, or whoever the recipient is needs to show ID and prove that they're 18, which adds on extra costs for the age verification to even get that product delivered.
Ah, I see.
So there's like a financial
And
hindrance.
then somebody has to actually police the people who are doing that to do that too.
Yeah. And it just costs more money and it really doesn't have much of an impact.
So really it's just complicated. Well, I mean, I kind of get it at like the store level because it's like the same way when you buy cigarettes or it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but
like
I
it doesn't
really don't
matter.
think dietary supplements need to be like looped in with cigarettes and alcohol.
It doesn't. That's stupid.
Yeah.
But like you can still do it and it be somewhat manageable. It's just annoying, you know? It's like not being able to pump your own gas in Oregon.
What if a kid walks in the vitamin shop, goes over to the kids section, supplements for kids, you know, grabs the melatonin gummies, you know, comes up to pay with like a $5 bill and is like, okay, my mom sent me in here to get this. It's melatonin gummies for kids. And they're like, well, you're not 18.
Yeah.
And it's just like, how fucking nonsensical is that? Granted, I'm sure a child is not going to be going in and buying its own melatonin gummies.
Especially not for $5.
Not for $5. But my point is, like, these are products that are designed for children.
Yeah.
There are many products that are designed for different age demographics. And if we put this really wide, like,
It's just silly. Why would they do that in the first place? Why?
Do you want to know the motivation?
Yeah. What's the motivation?
They believe that dietary supplements are causing eating disorders in teens and young adults.
No, that's TikTok.
That's what everybody says.
That's silly.
Blaming the supplements for what happens on social media is not the answer.
You know, as humans, we sure do find a whole lot of reasons to make problems for ourselves.
Well, and then you go blame something that's not even the problem and you think you've fixed the problem and then the problem is still going to persist anyway.
Yeah.
So that whole effort to going in and banishing this thing that was never a problem gets demonized and
It just becomes someone else's new problem.
And how does it ever come back? I mean, where's the retribution in that when we find out that it's actually social media that's at the root of all these eating disorders and has nothing to do with the supplements?
Yeah.
There's no way to come back from that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's weird, man.
So, yeah.
People, I mean, the whole world's weird, but yeah, I'm not going to try and wrap my head around it, but it's just, It's bullshit to me.
Granted that's bullshit. My axe to grind with the government had to do with NMN.
Right.
It shouldn't be a drug. It's a vitamin.
Right.
And if that's the case, what other vitamins are they just suddenly going to turn into drugs? And then we won't have access to vitamin B12 or vitamin C or who knows? So, the next shit pandemic that hits, you're going to be shit out of luck because they've turned all the vitamins into drugs and you'll have to get a prescription for that if you want to have any kind of hope of defending yourself against this wild virus that makes you fucking bleed from the ass for ever until you die.
Yeah, we can get real conspiracy theory here in a minute.
There's a lot of different ways you could look at this, but it's really just, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't need to happen. Like if we respected our liberties, we would be able to have the choice, especially if we know that they're generally safe.
Yeah.
They're generally regarded as safe, right? Isn't that the term?
Generally recognized as safe.
Recognized as safe?
Yes. It's called GRAS.
Okay. Are the NMN or any of these B vitamins, they're all GRAS, right?
Generally recognized as safe, yes.
So then what's the issue?
The issue is there's a pharmaceutical company that wants to turn this into a drug that did file paperwork to investigate it as a new drug. However,
so it's a money thing.
It is a money thing.
So that's why we need money too.
Well, this is the point. This is where financial interests from the pharmaceutical industry are trying to sway FDA into turning something that was already approved as a vitamin before the investigational new drug forms were submitted to the FDA. And, the thing was, it was cleared to be this vitamin. Pharmaceutical company comes in behind it, says, we want to make this a drug. And they're like, okay, you can make this a drug while it's being sold as a vitamin. And then further down the road, once, it's being sold prolifically as a vitamin, they're like, hey, FDA, these guys are selling this thing that we're investigating as a drug, as a vitamin, but since we're investigating it as a drug, can you get them to stop that so we can have all the money whenever we turn this thing into a drug?
Yeah.
That's pretty much
that's what it is.
The end of it.
Yeah.
That is the story.
Yeah. So now we got to go fight that.
Oh, but there's more.
Is there a plan to fight this? Obviously, it's going to take some money.
So in this class of B vitamins, we'll get to the money thing in a second.
Okay.
There are other competitors. So the holy grail of this is getting to a compound called NAD. NMN becomes NAD. Niacin becomes NAD. And then there's this third entity called NR, nicotinamide riboside, that also becomes NAD. And this thing is all patented up too, but it's sold as a dietary supplement. So Chromadex, the company that sells NR, came out in support of the FDA saying, we support FDA's decision on NMN and the NMN should be considered a drug because nicotinamide riboside is so superior, which it is not, but it's just a competitor to their business. So in order for them to have a monopoly on any paths of forming NAD in the dietary supplement industry, they want this FDA enforcement to happen so their number one competitor is taken out of the market. Once again, it's all about money.
Why don't they just come out with a version of NMN?
Because they had it in their patent portfolio. They decided not to pursue it. And they ended up making nicotinamide riboside. They've hung their hat on it. And
so they just said, we're just going to cut the head off of everything. And then we're just going to own this one thing. And this is the only way.
Yeah.
So they're going to monopolize on it.
They're going to, they're trying to already. They're actively trying to.
On the mechanism of action.
It's a similar mechanism. There's different paths of getting there, but yes, ultimately.
Okay. Well, that's fucked up.
It is fucked up.
That's fucked up.
There was another article that came out today about another one of my favorite compounds called galantamine. The CRN, which is one of the trade industries, what is it, the Council for Responsible Nutrition or something like that. They wrote an article saying that galantamine should not be considered a dietary supplement as well because it is also sold as a drug. Now, there's been some gray area here because historically at 4 milligrams, it's considered a dietary supplement. But at 8 milligrams, you've crossed the divide and you've become a drug because of the dosage level. And the CRN came out and said all galantamine should be banned, which it should not, because it is in fact a natural product that comes from, I think it's like the red spider lily. It's something that I've had in a product before, the Lotus Dreamweaver.
Which we should bring back.
Which we should totally bring back.
We were talking about that earlier.
The thing that's cool as fuck about galantamine, people are making medical claims on it saying, yeah, boost memory and all this other stuff, which it may. But the other thing that is really cool about it is a great inducer of lucid dreaming.
Like delta sleep.
Like deep delta sleep, but also it's not just that, but it increases acetylcholine, so you have alpha waves going on while you have delta sleep, so you're able to lucidly dream. You get into these dreams, and it's like being in a like choose your own adventure movie.
I love that goosebump style.
Oh, it's so fun because you get into this dream, and like you're like, oh God, I am dreaming, and I know I'm dreaming. It's like, oh, let's have some fun. Like you can actually, have an active role in your dreams.
Right.
You wake up the next day. I mean, yes.
What do they call that again? Not just lucid dreaming, but there's a word for it.
Talking about astral projection.
Astral projection.
Not quite the same.
No?
I feel like astral projection's in another dimension.
But if you can control it, I mean, that's like a deeper dive into your own subconscious, in which you can truly kind of figure out.
It's like Inception.
Yeah.
If you like, how they would inject themselves and they'd start dreaming, but they would know they were dreaming.
Yeah, but you're unlocking doors of your subconscious where you're truly learning like your deeper fears and the things that motivate you.
But you're able to almost like consciously look at them in the subconscious, which is therapeutic to a degree.
Well, just going back to Dreamweaver real quick, like that is a badass supplement that you made.
Oh God.
I mean, it's like a niche thing. Like you don't want to take it every day because it's like,
you shouldn't take it every day because it can give you like gastric upset. You don't want to play with it every day.
Because I mean, it might take you to some scary places too. It can go the other way. It's like an acid trip.
But you're okay because you're asleep.
Right. Yeah.
And it will give you sleep paralysis pretty good.
Yeah.
Like I remember like kind of waking up and it'd be like, oh shit, I can't move. Yeah. I'm going back to sleep. Some people.
And you're also really freaking groggy when you wake up.
Well, some people like wake up with sleep paralysis and like just the fear instinct just immediately kicks on and they like think they're seeing shadow creatures or getting abducted by aliens.
I've done that.
Yeah. Plenty of that.
Yeah. But that was a super cool supplement. And I think we should find a way to bring it back, if not like just as our own little thing that we do for fun.
It's just a weird kind of category, like making a supplement to help you dream.
Not just like this is a sleep supplement. This is
Would you consider that an active lifestyle category?
Yeah, it's a lifestyle. Yeah. That's like for like neurohackers and
sure
stuff like that. All right, back to your politicking.
So we're bringing this back around.
Yeah.
Part of all this is the fact that they're focusing on things like turning NMN into a drug or saying that galantamine is going to be full on a drug when there are people who are literally putting drugs and supplements out there. I mean, you said it earlier at dinner. There's some asshole out there still making millions of dollars selling SARMs, which is like totally illegal, or DMAA or DMHA, also totally illegal. These are, banned ingredients that shouldn't be in the marketplace. Yet some skeezers that are out there are still, making plenty of money selling these because they're extra hardcore, But FDA doesn't really care about necessarily all of them. They're not going out there kicking in doors of just everybody who's making this stuff because I guess they're busy busting vape companies and busy, sending out this wide public notice about Tecahote root, which is something that was found to be spiked with like a poisonous strain of belladonna, which is really not good. I mean, like they say it's this one thing, but it's actually this toxic plant that they've been selling all the time. And not a single one of those companies that was selling that Tecahote root on Amazon got any kind of FDA 483 warning letter. There was no kind of action taken against any of the companies. It's just this letter that went out saying, hey, you might not want to buy this Tecahote root because it's spiked with belladonna.
So there's just some like really bad enforcement going on.
It's just they're just not taking an active role in the fucking jobs that they've been hired to do.
Yeah, that our tax dollars pay for.
So there's a lot of things that like kind of bother a lot of people about the FDA.
Yeah.
This whole thing with NMN is a point of contention that is called like the drug preclusion cause. So if it's investigated as a new drug, it can never become a supplement. There's the gray area on what a standardized extract could be as far as a supplement versus a drug and where that line is. And that's like the case with galantamine. And then there's just the overall lack of enforcement on compliance, making sure that brands and manufacturers are doing everything they should as far as product testing, making sure everything that's on the labels in the product.
It's like somebody's not really holding the FDA accountable. It's just like people are just finding ways to manipulate it for their own will.
That's 100% what's going on.
Yeah, well, I mean, we should do something about it.
That's what we're doing. So I talked to the NPA, and I've been talking to the NPA over like the last 2 weeks. We will be going to the Arnold, starting a fundraiser for the NPA's Legal Defense Fund. And I've been in talks with several of the other trade organizations.
Right. So let's explain this. There's several ones. It's not just NPA.
There's like 5 mafia families.
That's so silly.
That hold sway over the dietary supplement industries. You've got the NPA. There's also the UNPA. There's the AHPA. And then there's CRN, which wrote this letter on galantamine, and then CHPA. There are the 5 different families that hold the most influential power in dietary supplements. So in a way, I'm more or less going and groveling to each of these people.
Would you say they hold the power in money or they in politics, policy?
Both.
Okay. Because they're getting monies from like these monster brands like Now Foods and stuff like that.
Yeah, monster brands like that. And just through whatever other means. Maybe they've just got like wealthy people that are just big fans of the supplement industry who just donate a whole bunch. Maybe there's like a George Soros of dietary supplements who gives money to these organizations.
And then the people that operate within them obviously have some sort of clout. They have some sort of...
They're more or less like lobbyists for our industry. So they're the ones who talk directly to legislators in the House of Representatives and Congress and senators. So they are the ones who more or less influence the people that run things in Washington, D.C.
So these 5 families, do they all get along or is it all kind of like turf wars?
It's kind of... Sometimes they get along. It's very rare that they do. I wouldn't necessarily say turf wars. It's just that they don't play nice in the same sandbox.
Did they have different sort of like donors that may be competitors?
They have different spins.
Yeah.
So CRN, they try to be like the most textbook responsible. They're a little snooty, but they're very data driven. Okay. NPA, I would say, is mostly kind of sports supplement influenced the most. CHPA is interesting because I don't quite have a finger on them yet. I'm still learning more about CHPA, but they seem like legit people who will play ball. There's a guy, Lauren Israelis, that he runs CHPA, and he was one of the original, like, let's just call it one of the founding fathers of Deshay. And then AHPA, the American Herbal Products Association, that's your hippie group. Okay. Those are people that are way big into the herbs and the botanicals and all that kind of stuff. UNPA, I don't really know that much about.
Yeah.
So my goal is to circle the wagons.
Yeah.
And get all these families talking again. Because the FDA, with these certain laws in California.
Have these families ever like gotten together? Like, have they ever been friends?
It was 1994.
So they have.
And Orrin Hatch got all these guys together to create the first version of Deshay, the Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act of 1994, which set all the legislation and regulations for the dietary supplement industry.
That exists today.
And my goal is to round them all up and get them talking again to update it and do a Deshay 2.0.
Okay. Because it's kind of a shit show now.
It's kind of a shit show now, and we're getting our name dragged through the mud, and it's time to take action.
Yeah.
And we'll be right back after these messages.
Greetings to all our entrepreneurial listeners out there. This segment of Supworks is brought to you by Nutrabound Labs, leaders in the field of nutraceutical manufacturing. Are you in the health and wellness industry looking to launch or expand your line of nutritional supplements? Nutrabound Labs is a GMP certified and FDA registered contract manufacturer that aims to be your go-to partner for top-notch manufacturing services. They specialize in creating high-quality, custom-formulated products with excellent flavors that meet your unique needs. Imagine having access to a state-of-the-art facility where your vision for premium vitamins, supplements, and protein powders becomes a reality. Nutrabound Labs offers that and more with their advanced manufacturing techniques, rigorous quality control, and a commitment to using only the best ingredients and flavoring systems. As a nutraceutical label designer myself and consultant, working with Nutrabound Labs is always a pleasure. Nutrabound Labs isn't just a manufacturer. They're your partner in success from R&D to production, and even labeling and packaging, which us here at NutriMedia basically bolt on with them for. Their comprehensive services are designed to streamline your product launch and drive your business forward. Don't wait to bring your nutraceutical vision to life. Visit NutraboundLabs.com to learn more about their exceptional service and start a journey with a trusted industry leader. Or if you're interested, just contact me, TK. You can follow me on at Nutramedia, direct message me directly, and I can share Marcus's contact with you. Nutrabound Labs, where your product's potential becomes a reality.
And we're back.
So the idea is we are going to try to unite all these different trade organizations to work together again. We're going to try to make Deshay 2.0 become a thing because it's been 30 years. 30 years is a long time. Like, this law was put into place before the internet existed, before social media existed, before AI existed, before we had the ability to even sequence a genome in its entirety. You know, there's so much scientific, knowledge that we have gained in the last 30 years, where many parts of Deshay as it stood back then, which was to the best of our knowledge up until that time, it's just become obsolete, and where there are certain ambiguities within that law that need further definitions, so we don't run into these weird problems where we're just painting with a broad brush saying that our industry is unregulated and dangerous, or in that sense where you need age verification, where we're effectively in the same realm as cigarettes and alcohol.
Yeah, and letting these sort of individuals come in and sort of hold sway with their abundance of money and influence and power. I mean, I guess that's just politics in general, but at least to a certain point, the people can take this back. And the good thing about the supplement industry is there's enough people sort of in this weird sort of cottage industry we have where we can probably make a stink enough about it. We can raise money. We can create awareness.
And that's
we can
really
educate.
the main thing is that, yes, we are regulated, and that, there are a lot of people in this industry that want to do the right thing. There are more people that, want to send all their raw materials off for testing just so they make sure that what's on the label is in the bottle than there are skeezy motherfuckers who are selling drugs as masqueraded as supplements or research chemicals or what have you, that are just doing the wrong thing, that deserve to get busted, that deserve.
Just playing devil's advocate here. Is this a death of innovation, or do you think this is just a better path to innovation?
I think we need to move the goalposts in a constructive way that allows more innovation. That the way that the law can be interpreted with so much gray area to where, in a way, the law as it currently exists is kind of stifling to innovation. Mm-hmm. So that's why I think Deshay needs this kind of an update where we can start elaborating on these subjects a little bit more.
Do you have anything in specifics as far as policy that you would like to bring up?
The drug preclusion thing. Mm-hmm. The drug preclusion thing says that if it's ever investigated to be a drug, that it can never be a dietary supplement, even though it may be found in the natural world.
That's a silly law.
It is a silly law. And in a lot of cases like this, you'll have a drug company that does find something in the natural world. They investigate it as a new drug, and it fails in clinical trials to produce anything of benefit that they find that would be good for either patients or would be something that they can patent and make money off of. Mm-hmm. In a lot of cases, these things that are found in the natural world, they're not patentable. So, where does that leave it? I mean, it's effectively dead to anyone who could potentially receive benefit from it because it was
that stifles innovation.
And this could have been done back in the anywhere in history. This could be aspirin is derivative of salicin, which is found in white willow bark. And, you can use salicin in dietary supplements, but you can't use aspirin because it's a chemically derived version. So they took salicin from white willow bark, they acetylated it, and then they turned it into aspirin, which then became a drug, which is fine. And I think, when it comes to drug discovery, they're using a lot of natural products to understand different mechanisms of action inside the body so they can make a few synthetic modifications to it to where it is patentable, and then they can make something that is more potent than what's found in the natural world and turn that into a drug. That's the usual path that things go. Mm-hmm. And I think that we in the dietary supplement industry need to have access to everything that exists in the natural world. Mm. Of course, we're excluding toxic venom from poison dart frogs. Okay. Weird shit like that. Don't take anything that's going to kill you. But I think we do it, and as the current law is written, it has to be either animal, vegetable, or mineral, or a constituent thereof. But we're completely forgetting about other different systems of life like fungi and bacteria. And bacteria is the entire probiotics industry. And
That's
yet it's never
wild.
spoken of directly in the original text of Deshay. So there are other kingdoms of life that we should actually have access to that aren't explicitly written out in the original law that we're currently using, which in a sense could be like immediately taken away from us. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it needs work. So we're going to be campaigning. We're going to be campaigning at the Arnold. We're going to be campaigning at Natural Products Expo West, and we're going to be campaigning online through, I'm hoping, the entire month of March. I mean, obviously, since we're starting at the Arnold, it's going to start on March 1st.
Well, I mean, we'll probably end up being doing this all throughout the rest of the year.
Probably throughout the rest of the year. Because let's be real, even if we were to shape up like, the text of this new legislation, it's an election year.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to hang their hat on this right now. Everyone's trying to get reelected.
Yep.
So I'm thinking after the election when all these new people are in, and hopefully if we don't get a shitty president, which seems like a very lost cause at this point. Yeah. And I don't give a shit what side of the fucking aisle you're on. We got a couple of losers that are running for fucking president right now that are leading the pack. And they're so fucking close to death. It is just absolutely like abysmal. We got two old fucking shitheads that are so fucking out of touch with normal people that it's just laughable. Whether you're a Trumper, whether you're an anti-Trumper, whether you're pro-Biden or whatever. All these motherfuckers have none of our interests at heart. And the quicker we decide that, that's the case and realize this, then the better off we're going to be. We're going to start finding people that truly do represent the best of us and trying to put those people into office. And hopefully, if some people that maybe...
So what's the plan like to try and get people? I mean, we've come up with an idea at the Arnold. So
we're going to be taking live donations on site.
Right. Like you're just going to go around and sort of talk to people, right?
I'm going to talk to people. I'm going to spread awareness. And if anyone wants to join the fight, reach out to me. Reach out to me.
So we're thinking about getting some t-shirts made for donations. We're going to get some designed up and hopefully like sell those in lieu of donations. And also an idea that we were kind of tossing around is, so we're going to do a kind of like a live at the Arnold. So if anyone's been to the Arnold, or really any expo, they're always attached to like a hotel. All the expo convention centers are all attached to a hotel. And usually, if you're an industry person, you'll meander your way over to the hotel bar around the evening time. Yeah, that's where the socializing goes down. Party. So we kind of came up with this idea. Well, maybe we should do the podcast in the bar because at I forget which hotel it is called specifically, but there's a very large area where there's like a lobby area where you can chill at, where it's more quiet and a little bit more tame, but you're still sort of in the mix of it all where everyone can see you.
And I like the fact that we're taking the show on the road.
We're taking the show on the road.
We're going to get this show on the road.
And we will know half of the people in that room already.
Yeah.
They will already know us. We know them. So I think that it's a perfect opportunity to have another hot mic and people can donate for a chance to be a guest spot for, 15, 20 minutes on the podcast.
It'll be really interesting to see who all is there and who will stop by and want to sit down with us.
Yeah. I'll put some money down, a couple $100, whatever, a couple thousand, whatever you got.
I mean, it depends on how fucking baller you feel.
Yeah. Fuck. You've had a couple drinks and you got, your $1 million company. Come.
Depends on how you feel about the regulations in the government right now.
Exactly. And let's sit down. We can talk about that. You can plug your
Emotions
brand.
Are high.
You can say anything that you want. We want to give you like 15 minutes of basically mic time for anyone that's going to be there to come and be about it.
And
be about this isn't money that we're taking. You actually have a payment device that's like directly,
which is tied to the nonprofit legal defense fund.
Right. So it has nothing to do with us at all.
No, we're not taking any money. And it's really funny because like it's literally Like I have to call them, like they're giving me the account details, and I'm just going to verify with them. Like, yes, you're getting this money. Okay, good. Then we've created the mechanism that works. There will be receipts. All these donations will be tax deductible through the 501c3. We can have these receipts emailed to you or literally printed right there on site, whatever is easiest for you for your record keeping. And it's something at the end of the year, you just write it off. It's a charitable donation.
Right.
And it helps our industry fight back and to try to create legislation that makes sense for our regulations. in the
Yeah, I
industry.
mean, this is our ability to get involved. This is our opportunity here at Supworks to get involved. It's your opportunity to help make change happen and for you to get involved. It's gonna happen with us people, like the people listening, the super users, the super fans, the supplement. It's got to start with us. We got to start getting loud. We got to start moving our money into the right place, and we got to get behind these people in order for this to happen.
And it's time for our generation to start taking action on stuff like this.
Yeah, and
'Cause people are getting old.
yeah. So if you ever had a hankering for wanting to sort of get active, I guess this is one way you can do it. I'm not a super political person, but I'm kind of fired up about it.
I'm totally cool with dietary supplement activism. If there's anything I could get behind, I figured this would be it.
This would be it. Yeah.
Making some positive change.
Yeah. And then we'll see where it goes from there. But yeah. You want to move on to the next segment?
You mean that's bullshit?
That's bullshit. So we're going to do That's Bullshit a little bit different this time. We're going to do it because we're in a new setting, and we'll get to that here in a little bit. But I wanted to talk a little about something that I think is complete bullshit.
You mean label edition?
That's bullshit label edition.
Excellent. You made a post about this recently on LinkedIn.
Y'all know it's coming. Exhibit A.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
This is a real piece of work right here. And I've got many ways to dissect this right here. For those who don't know, me and Joey both were wood bolt people, turned Nutrabolt people. I think Joey's the original formulator of C4.
Yes.
You have a history with C4, and so do I.
I wish I could bring like the version 1 tub from my house and bring it in and like just do like a side-by-side comparison.
Yeah, and we both have a love and affinity for Nutrabolt, for the people, for the products, the whole history, the whole story. It means so much to me.
We want them to succeed.
I put a post on LinkedIn and it showed Britney Spears,
I think that was appropriate.
Because look, Britney Spears.
Wear something yellow if you're in danger. And it's fucking yellow, folks.
But look, she used to be like, when we were teens, like she was like hot stuff, right? Like she was
Are you saying that this is the Britney Spears of the supplement industry right here?
right now.
It is right now.
Yeah.
Shaved her fucking head off.
She's wearing a weird bikini, doing some weird knife dance.
Why are you dancing with knives, C4? Why are you doing this? Are you trying to tell us something?
And let me tell you why. Okay. Let me tell you why. There's a lot of reasons why.
Where do you begin?
First of all,
just take it top to bottom,
Okay.
maybe. I don't know.
so let's talk substrate first. Cellucor was one of the pioneers of like the domed label with the tactile and then using this knockout to chrome,
The multiple effects.
the multiple layers. I mean, they were the first ones to really do it.
yeah.
And the team that was behind that, these guys have moved on to do brands like Ghost and Podium, and the vendors that they use are like still to this day, like coming out with the most high quality premium labels that money can buy. And this company, C4, used to get them from there. They used to have a very, very good relationship. Maybe they still do. I don't know. But what I can tell just from looking at this label from a quality standpoint, let's talk about like the craftsmanship of it.
If you were to rank the quality of this label on a 1 to 10 scale, where would you put
It's
it?
like a 2. They tried.
You gave it a 2?
Yeah, so first of all, they used to have labels with all the tech on it, right?
Right.
And then they went to shrink sleeves, which this is, without the tech on it for the most part. They didn't have raised doming, they didn't have spot sandpaper, they didn't use chrome or anything like that. They were just doing them pretty simple, but they were pretty well designed, and this sort of like version 4 C4 Ultimate, those are pretty cool.
Okay.
And then, there was like, but what happened to all the cool stuff that makes the labels feel and look dynamic? So they tried to bring it back, which you will have to like tip your hat to and say, cool on you for trying that. But then they kept it on a shrink sleeve, which really isn't the problem. And I'll get to that in a second because I have a comparison that'll show why that will shit on this. It's the whoever they had print this, you need to get your money back. This thing is out of registration by like a 16th of an inch.
They're far too. They probably spent millions on these.
It's way out. The registration on the doming
by registration.
So like when you put the tactile, it comes on a second run. So first you run your white layer. Your white ink is what creates
the backdrop.
The backdrop, and it's what you can saturate ink to. And then they go with another layer over it. That's your ink, your color.
It's like using a primer when you're painting a wall before you put a color on.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then on top of that, there'll be laminates and there's varnishes. So think of a laminate like a full flood of a type of film. Either it's glossy or either it's matted or soft touch. And then there's a varnish that will add texture or gloss or spot gloss or tactile. And in this case, they're doing several. There's a lot. It's very dynamic like it used to be, but they weren't all lined up properly. So when these things are moving really fast through this machine.
So it's cockeyed is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's off. Like it's not lined up. It's off. And good printers will nail it. And what I mean by that is right here.
Oh God, they don't want to see that comparison.
They don't want to see this.
No.
But if you go and you look at their tactile, their doming is what they call it on the
when
the logo here.
Pops off.
It's dead on. It's tack. It's sharp and it feels good and it's dense and everything about the overall craftsmanship of this label is far, far superior. The color fidelity is way more.
We know who prints that label, and it's who used to make the Cellucor labels.
They used to, yeah. So
now, clearly, this is not made by the same label
It
printer.
cannot, in my opinion. It just, I mean, it's like they tried. Maybe
They wouldn't.
Maybe it was, but I highly doubt it.
Would not put that product out. I don't think.
Well, there's also the nod to color. Okay, so it looks like they tried to do like a neon on the yellow, right? Which is really strange to me because
it's like a tennis ball yellow.
Because exhibit fucking C, this is their color. They have
like caution tape.
Like Walmart, like Chick-fil-A, like any large brand that exists in the planet, they will begin to own the intellectual property on the likeness of the color in which their mark is determined by. Okay, why did you change the color? And also, can you get this neon highlighter color now on a can?
I don't believe so.
I don't know. These are called INX colors, which is different from Pantone color. So if you're using, yes, it's a completely different color index. So,
but you could get that color on something like that because that's also a shrink sleeve.
No, these are different. It's a different color yellow. Like it's not the same.
But I mean, could you get that color on one of these? Like I'm sure this company could pull that color off.
Oh,
sure.
on a shrink sleeve, yes, but they're using print on can. So INX is a completely different. So
that color may not be available on the palette of this printing method.
It's quite a roll of dice to just assume that.
What if McDonald's changed their golden arches to like tennis ball yellow?
I would expect different.
I think it would be off-putting for a lot of customers.
It is, or already is right now. I'm looking at it.
I mean, are you off-put?
Well, there's another reason why I'm off-put. Okay. What the fuck's up with this wave?
Yeah.
What the fuck is up with that? That is a rastered image, like a Photoshop PNG, maybe at a 300 DPI that they're using. Look, man, this brand ain't using no PNGs. This is all vector. Aside from probably...
You can see the pixels.
That's what I'm getting at. How poor of a quality, not only of a print job, but just the general use of that type. This is just design 101. Like if you're a packaging designer, you don't use these type of imagery and these type of assets as a core. Like maybe if you do it as a small thing.
If
like
I'm
an icon,
interpreting this correctly, the majority of this label is made in Illustrator, which uses what are called vector images.
Correct.
And it is very taboo, a faux pas, if you will, to take a rasterized image from, say, Adobe Photoshop and to bring it into a vector print file that is designed for labels.
It's not faux pas. It's done all the time. It's just there's a way of doing it where you know what the rules are.
Well, clearly.
This breaks all of them.
Okay.
And then also when you're trying to do it on a multi-layer print with like lots of different sort of like gloss, and then obviously this goes to like matte. They do this glossed and they do this matte. It just has a poor execution. It always does, because any good designer would know like it looks tacky. It looks like you tried too much. And then when it goes off for registration because you tried to do too much, it even looks even tackier. So it feels cheap. You try to spend more money on it to make it look more premium, but you do too much and it ends up looking tacky. And that's exactly what the usage of this type of graphic is. Okay, let's talk about
that. The pixelated rasterized image on there gives me like the vibes of like family photos at JCPenney.
Yes. Yeah. It's like supposed to be nostalgic, which you would think is a good thing in this case, because like sometimes nostalgia works, but the execution's so poor that it's just doesn't come. It just doesn't read that way. It just reads like cheap. Then there's the comp, right? The compositioning. Okay. The whole point of this wave here is because they're taking it from Hawaiian Punch, because that's on Hawaiian Punch's repository of assets in which they're providing, and they have to find a way to bring Hawaiian Punch's branding into this branding, right?
Why didn't they just use that character guy with the lays on his head and everything?
He's a vector.
That would be the easiest thing to do.
So the composition of using all this fruit splash here, it's completely being like it's competing. It's in competition with the word original.
Sure.
And these are two top line branding, basically, what I would call elements that you're trying to delineate from each other so that when you read this label, you know exactly what it's trying to tell you.
Well, it's hard to read.
Exactly.
I'm not even that old.
Exactly. So the flavor split in this case, it's its completely own separated element.
Yeah.
Right? And here, it's basically a part of the backgrounding element, but it's being covered up by the word original.
So as far as C4 original that has dropped lately, are there any other flavors available that are not Hawaiian Punch right now?
Yeah, they came back with this look that's not a collab, and it doesn't look as bad. Like, I got to give it credit. It's okay. I don't understand the change of the yellow. This like spot sandpaper that they're doing with these weird slash jagged things. Yeah. It doesn't do anything for me.
No, and I felt that too. And
it doesn't do it. Like, I don't think it adds any visual branded aesthetic. I like that they brought chrome back here in this way. I think that's great. The overall quality of the label's complete shit. Then I want to get into this color band that's on the top. So this is trying to dictate flavor.
Me. Like, I'm OCD, and
who built this CMYK color build?
Is it one color? I see fucking gradients in that.
It's supposed to be a gradient, but it's a terrible vignette. And what I mean by that is I've been to the place where this gets made, and I've seen them make vignettes on labels, and they're beautiful. The color fidelity of this can is beautiful. This color is flat.
It just doesn't look right.
I don't know if they're not using Pantone, if it was a CMYK build. Look how far these little like spot sandpapers come up off of this. It's out of registration by like 1/8 of an inch.
Oh my God.
Across the whole thing. Yeah, like on the mock-ups, they look beautiful. On their renders, it looks really cool.
Well, it looks like they were running out of paint here.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Like it's the ink. I don't know, the color selection, all of it. It's just it's really bad design, man. Like, it's bad design. I don't know what else to say. I'm trying to I don't know who did it on their side and their team. The other version looked better.
I bet they saved a lot of money on label development.
No, they probably spent a lot more. That's probably the funny thing.
They didn't find this guy on Fiverr and say, "Hey,
no,
make us
they probably paid someone way too much money, and there's probably a lot of people nodding their head in there and being like, "Yeah, this is cool, this is cool." And there's a lot of people being like, "No, it's not," but they're afraid to speak up because it's not good. It's not good. It's not a matching color yellow. The yellow's wrong. I don't know if they're going to do everything to that neon yellow, but I hope not, because it's not really that good of a yellow. Like, it looks cool as a render. That's it. It does not look good on shelf.
Well, and also like you were talking about with where there's like, what is the spot matte? Is that what you're calling it with these bands here? What do you call that?
Spot sandpaper.
Spot sandpaper. It just runs into the words here, and it makes like the warning and the suggested use difficult to read because it looks like they were trying to maintain some of that through the text. And if you angle this, like you can definitely see how it's like that 1/8 or 16th of an inch off.
Yeah. So either that was bad design or off registration. You could also see where, can I see it?
Just
Like on the plating. I don't know. Like whoever plated
look at
this.
the text. Look at the text on the side with the warning.
Look at the word original and all the doming that's supposed to go around it, and look how how sloppy it looks. It looks sloppy. It looks like a child went and trying to trace the word original. See it? You see how it kind of looks like somebody who put it on there was drunk, and all the like bumpage of it kind of ran, like it was not dry. But look at this one and look how tight it is.
There's nothing to complain about there.
It's perfect. It's absolutely flawless. So like, all right, you're a near $1 billion company. I don't know. Please go back to labels. Stop the shrinks. Maybe. I don't know. They got the C4 Ultimate Shred. Like the Dordo's showing me the mock-ups. The mock-ups look good.
There is no perforation here on the lid for where this top of this neckband is supposed to come out. So it looks like you're just going to rip the whole label off.
They should.
Without any perforation.
It's on a black tub, and that's just kind of silly. Like, what happened to the chrome tubs, man? Like,
I like this cool hex web here
it feels
on the
cheap,
lid.
though, but I know why. They use a biodegradable plastic, I believe, or some sort of like green-friendly. Their cause or whatever. I don't.
Technology is just something that they spray on it. It's this regular HDPE plastic with the spray on thing that helps it disintegrate over time.
Here's my whole hang up on that.
just-
If you want to do that, that's fine. If you want to use it as some sort of marketing tool or whatever. But like, I mean, how many of these consumers really care in the supplement space? I think it's few and far between.
I think it's going to introduce more microplastics into the environment overall if you like try to bury this in your garden.
Yeah. So I just think it's a weird thing to try and hang your hat on. I don't know enough about it to really like nag on it, but I can tell you that I feel it feels cheap. The lid feels cheap, even though it does have all the debossing and embossing. It just feels cheap.
Should I even talk about the formula here?
If you want to, I haven't even looked at the formula. I hear it's better. I hear it's good.
Now, it does say C4 original, and I do feel that there is some merit here for trying that deserves to be called out. They've got methylfolate, methylcobalamin, and pyridoxal 5-phosphate. And I had to fight fucking tooth and nail for P5P back in the original days of C4. And they're like telling me that we had to go back to pyridoxine hydrochloride for vitamin B6 because there wasn't a viable testing method for it. Only to find out that, yes, there are viable testing methods for P5P. I'm glad they went back. That's nice. They're using coenzyme B vitamins across the board. The fact that they're using a methylfolate is nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Step in the right direction.
They got choline bitartrate in here, which is probably like an overshadowed ingredient by the rest of the performance blend. But it's in there, 225 milligrams, at least as far as its choline yield, which is 41% daily value, which is nice. Okay. Carnosine beta-alanine at 2 grams is below clinical dose, but I mean, sure, if this is your first workout, fine, or your first pre-workout, fine.
Which is what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that was $44.99, which I think is pretty kind of steep.
This is $44.99.
I think that's what we paid for it.
Get out of here. Yeah. This is not worth $44.99. I'm just going to go ahead and say that right now. The Velox patented performance blend. I like the fact that
Didn't you use Velox at one point?
for the longest time, nobody gave a fuck about the Velox performance blend.
$34.99. Sorry.
No one gave a fuck about the Velox performance blend until I started using it in Plasm Surge.
Yep.
And it was really underutilized IP from Key Oaxaca. And I like that there was a synergy there because it also like boosted. So the Ultimate's
The
44.
Ultimate, that's what I
This
saw.
is $39.99.
Yeah.
I still think that's kind of pushing it.
Yeah.
But the ratio here is also below clinical. This is a product that I would deem is born to be double scooped. So you actually do get good dosages of everything. 1.2 grams of citrulline, 1.2 grams of arginine. There are no claims that you can tie to this dose. They have Pepti Pump from Nuratos in here, which I guess is something that they must have talked to Nuratos and said, you got to have something. You got to have something for pump. Give us something. Joey really kicked us in the balls when he used Pepti Strong before we did. So we've got to get something.
Isn't it weird that it seems like when you come out with stuff, they find a way to do it too later, but not as
Well,
innovative?
I don't know anything about Pepti Pump because I think that this is probably something that's going to be exclusive to Nutrabolt. That's the way that they try to.
Yeah, they're
box
probably
things
buying
out.
enough to corner it.
Are they? I mean, sure, they probably have a decent amount of quantity, but I guarantee the clinical dosage on this is not 100 milligrams.
So have they come out with anything about the clinical yet? That's weird to launch it and then not have the study.
Well, I mean, look, I did it. I did it with Pepti Strong, but I have not seen anything at all published on Pepti Pump. And I looked after this thing launched. I was like, where is it? Where's the Pepti Pump?
Do you think someone sold them a...
I think what it is a rebranded version of one of their other ingredients, and they're calling it Pepti Pump.
Maybe.
And they're putting it at 100 milligrams because no one's ever going to be able to find the dose, at least not right now. So that there's
Should we mix them up and try it?
There's probably more
To see what
this.
it tastes like?
So yeah, that's another thing that concerns me. Even though it's only in 100 milligrams, it comes from lentils,
Oh,
beans.
I like lentils.
I mean, I like lentils too, but I don't know if I like Hawaiian punch lentils.
Let's crack it up.
Let me finish this.
Oh, okay.
Creatine nitrate is NO3T at 1 gram, which has got a 25 or a 35% yield, so 250 to 350 milligrams of nitrate. Once again, it's born to be double scooped. Caffeine anhydrous at 200 milligrams, which is nice and moderate in the born to be double scoop context at 400 milligrams. The double scoop, it's legit. And then you've got huperzine A in here at 5 milligrams, which I once again believe is a cardinal sin to do in pre-workouts because it stops that mind-muscle connection. There is a synergy between huperzine A and the choline bitartrate in there by increasing acetylcholine levels in the CNS, which can increase focus, but it does stop that mind-muscle connection. So the thing about that is like, it makes sense for a nootropic. It does not make sense for being used anywhere in the peri-workout kind of scenario. So, yeah, I mean, the previous version was a little bit underwhelming as well. Oh, it turns out Hawaiian Punch is a trademark of Dr. Pepper Keurig.
No way.
Yeah.
It's like they had some say about it, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's definitely how they got into it. And no actual...
I wonder how much, like, maybe Dr. Pepper's design influence came into this.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
No actual trademark statements. There are. Oh wait. So
Look on the
there's
backside.
There's a QR code to look at trademark and patent information.
Look at the doming on those little, like, hashes on the backside. Look how far off
Like
they
how
are.
far up into the flavor thing they are.
Yeah, it's like it just kind of really missed. All right, Blair, can you let's taste it. Can you go mix this up just a little bit so we can just taste it? We'll talk about something
Open the
else.
lid without ripping the entire label off. Give it a shot.
Yeah, like there's no perforation on it. They're a beverage first company now. Their whole thing is this yellow. But now they're branding C4 as a highlighter color over here. So that means this will eventually need to become this.
I get that they're trying to do some rebranding. I get it. They kind of got drugged through the mud a little bit. They're trying to do better. They're just having a real hard time.
They fucked up.
Of course they fucked up, but I mean they're not going to see it that way.
No, they see. Well, you know. I mean, you talk.
Of course I know.
But I mean, just go back to McDowell, man. Like at the very least, go ask John Boy what he thinks.
They had to save money somewhere with adding all these new ingredients.
A couple pennies.
They saved a couple pennies on the label to put subpar clinical or not even clinical dosages in this product. What's the scoop look like?
I think it's just a standard old Scoopy. Oh.
Short handle.
Yep. So what do you need, a battery? What's up with that?
It was at 26 minutes.
Oh, you just needed to do a reset. Oh, okay. All right. All right, so we're gonna taste test this baby and just see if it tastes good.
How many cc's is this thing? 13 cc on a 9 gram serving size.
You know what? It looks better without the shrinkage with just this black cap.
Here.
Which again, I think they should just go back to the label. I think they should go back to the labels how they were on the Gen 3. I mean that looks better to me. That vignette, that gradient color they're using is just the wrong color. Like I don't know who. Like, it's just doesn't look good. It has poor contrast. As poor.
Is it going to be accurate to Hawaiian Punch? With beans. in
Jury's
it.
out. Let's see. Yeah. It smells like it. It legitimately smells like it. It smells good. I think it's pretty close. Yeah. I think it's a pass from me. It's reminiscent of Hawaiian Punch to me.
Can you tell me what the dominant flavor is that you taste? Give it another shot.
No, it tastes like a kid's juice box, man.
I let me break
It tastes
this down.
more like fruit punch high C. I don't know.
Well, it does taste like a stock fruit punch.
Yeah.
There's a stock fruit punch in there, but there's extras. And I'm trying to filter through the extras. There's definitely a strong cherry.
I was gonna say cherry. Okay,
Cherry is definitely like
that's what I was gonna say. I like cherry though.
Cherry's the lead singer in this.
Yeah,
Backed by fruit punch. Now Hawaiian Punch.
maybe a hint of pineapple. Maybe just a tiny.
Oh, that's
hint.
psychology playing on you. Do you really taste pineapple?
You know what I taste? I taste artificial sweetener. That's what I taste with all these freaking things, man. Every pre-workout, every energy drink.
There is an immediate bitter note, and I feel like that's the lentils.
I know what you mean. I kind of got a little bit of that, but it's not harsh. It's
It doesn't stick around, but it's on that front end.
yeah. I think it's good though. I'd crush that. I'd crush that. I would say good job on the flavor.
I get orange. Cherry and orange. Is that the magic to fruit punch? It's just cherry and orange. I'm looking for pineapple and I'm not finding it.
Yeah, maybe that is just a psychological thing for me. All right.
They could have done better. They tried to do better. They tried to do better. I'm not going to fault them for trying to do better, which is good,
Blair, do you want to taste it?
but just stepping on their own dicks.
Well, I mean,
Okay, the
look,
coloring,
man.
though, the coloring, they did right.
The coloring's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I just want to see them do good. You know, I think they're industry innovators, and I feel like they're kind of looking like Britney Spears right now.
I feel like they they're like, I tried to do better. I tried.
It's like, I have Instagram.
I'm trying to win you back.
Yeah, this is how you take a selfie, right? This is TikTok. I got to do a knife dance, right? You want to see me in a bikini, right?
Where'd you put the can? Can I see the can one more time? Citric acid.
And
is-
like, you know, I got mad love for
only
the people,
acid.
like some of the top people up there still.
Yeah,
you know, I
citric
still got
acid
mad
number
love for
one.
people there, but
There's silicon dioxide in there at a high value, and that is blunting a lot of the flavor profile. Malic acid coming after that, NNA flavors after that. 9 grams, so I'm going to assume at maximum 180 milligrams of silicon dioxide, and then that means that malic acid is definitely under 200 milligrams. 4.5 plus 1 gram is 5.5, and 205 is going to be still under 6 grams. There's a lot of citric acid in here. Red 40, the artificial color. They didn't necessarily have to do that. It's sucralose and ASK at the far end of the spectrum. There are tiny amounts, less than 100 milligrams of FDNC Red 40 for sure per serving in this. it could have been sweeter. The
I don't think it was bad.
I can't hate on the citric and malic acid, but
I didn't think it was bad. Just mine.
I just feel like where's the carbs coming from? I want to know where the I guess
Maybe
that's
your
the
beans.
natural and artificial flavors and the beans.
Maybe the beans.
They don't have a carbohydrate source. Okay.
All right.
Enough of that.
Yeah. We're bored.
That's bullshit.
Audience is bored already.
Okay.
That is bullshit. I want to talk about, Joey,
Okay.
what everyone is wondering.
Why are we
I
here?
know what you guys are wondering. What you bad mammogrammers are wondering. You said, why ain't y'all at Nutramedia at the regular old Supworks studio?
So I kind of got tired of driving.
But we are in a studio.
We are doing a podcast
Yeah, this is one. Why?
because we have access to this podcast studio.
We do. Why?
Because, there's a guy we know that has an office here.
Who would that be?
We are taking a short break from this episode to talk about today's sponsor, Aspire Rejuvenation Clinic. Explore the keys to living your best life with Aspire Rejuvenation Clinic, your trusted partner in wellness and vitality. Folks, we all strive for a healthier, more vibrant life, right? Well, Aspire Rejuvenation Clinic is here to guide you on that journey. Their team of experts specializes in hormone replacement therapy, weight loss programs, and wellness treatments tailored just for you. I turned to Aspire Rejuvenation Clinic when I felt like I was losing my edge. Their personalized approach and comprehensive treatments revitalized my energy levels and overall well-being. It was a game changer for me. And it's not just about feeling good. It's about taking control of your health. With Aspire Rejuvenation, you get access to cutting-edge treatments like peptide therapies designed to boost your immune system, enhance performance, and even slow down the aging process. Concerned about safety? Don't be. Aspire Rejuvenation Clinic treatments are FDA approved, and their team of medical professionals ensure your journey is safe and effective and completely customized for your needs. Ready to take the first step towards a rejuvenated you? Visit aspirerejuvenation.com to learn more and schedule your consultation.
I guess that guy is me.
Hot damn, Joey Savage. Would you like to elaborate on that a little bit more?
So I have an office here. This is a neat little work share kind of place that does have like all kinds of fun little amenities. They have a really nice break room. It's air conditioning, heating. Some people wouldn't necessarily consider those amenities, but I do. And having access to this podcast studio, it's just here for whenever we need it. It doesn't cost any money. It's just like, it's part of my rent. So we can just come over here and do podcasts anytime. I got this because I have all the products for Glaxon planned out for all of 2024. And, I'll play a no work makes Joey a bored boy. So I decided that, it would be a good idea to maybe, kind of start exploring what other options there could be in whatever capacity of innovation that I could bring to the industry. So what I did is I rented out an office space over here, and, it's got a couple of desks, and it has a second lab. An entirely second lab that is similar to what I have over at 0 Day, but it's a little bit smaller, but I still have all the capabilities of being able to prototype products like pretty much right there on the spot, and all the different things that I need, all the beakers, all the capsules, all the encapsulators, the magnetic stirrers, all the different things that are needed in what I call a glorified food lab, which, it really doesn't take much in order to be able to prototype a product. So I have this little offshoot facility, and what it's for is for me to work with several different other brands. Now, at 0 Day, I've been able to do that with a handful of different private label clients that, I haven't really been able to talk about. But I started this thing because, in a way, I wanted to be able to network with not only these brands that I've worked with previously, or not even those guys, so to speak, but even new brands, people that in my capacity at 0 Day would never dream of working with. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, people who have enhanced capabilities. Mm-hmm. So at 0 Day, we're pretty much capsules and powders. Mm-hmm. But what if I wanted to make a beverage? What if I wanted to make a different kind of beverage. So not only carbonated beverage, but a hot filled beverage or an electrolyte beverage,
Topicals.
or topicals. And, I have been increasingly getting more interested into different skincare regimens. Thanks to Liz. Liz really got me into that. And she really, after a couple of trips to Ulta, really showed me that there's this huge industry in all these different nutrient enriched skincare regimens. And, I was just completely blind. I was just stuck in my male dominated mindset, being all in sports nutrition, like, what fucking face cream? Are you fucking serious? But it's got stuff in it that we would use in dietary supplements, like hyaluronic acid, what have you, and even different peptides.
This has all piqued your curiosity. And
it certainly has.
So what you're saying is Joey Savage, for the first time in a long time, has now offered his services for sale.
Yes.
To a certain degree.
You're
open for creating new things. You're open to bringing on new clients in a consulting type of...
I'm looking forward to collaborating with people who really want to push the envelope of innovation.
Yeah, and come out with new products.
Yeah. Blockbusters.
You don't necessarily have to manufacture at one place. You can help them.
But I can have access to the entire nation of manufacturers.
Correct.
Anybody and everybody I can work with.
And ingredient suppliers, since you have great relationships with ingredient suppliers.
Look, I have a lot of friends in the ingredients industry. And for, the last 6 years of my capacity, I've effectively been doing a lot of this stuff, at least for private label clients, for free.
Yes.
As long as they were to manufacture with us, then I could, bestow my knowledge upon them and take their formula and be like, no, let's tweak this up a little bit. Let's change this and we'll make it more efficient. We'll make it taste better. And it's really hard to kind of put a price on that. At least, when someone who came to us as a client, doesn't really know what they want to do. And I help guide them on their path to making a product that functions and flavors and performs really well.
Which you are quite possibly one of the very best or most highly accoladed and or most experienced person in sports nutrition as of right now at doing so.
It's weird because
it's just crazy that you haven't found a way to fully monetize that for yourself. I'm just going to be perfectly honest.
Well, yeah. And in my previous capacities, I liked the security of being tied to a brand. It feels like, I'm on this team, this is my team and I work for this team and I'm going to do what I can to make our team win in whatever ways possible.
You've done a really good job of doing that.
But in a way, we've definitely had our fair share of wins and, that's cool and all, but I definitely want to bring that to other people and other brands and stuff. So, I want to be seen as an asset to the entire industry in that kind of way. Be like, you really want to make a banger, hit up Joey, see what he's got to say. And, see if you want to pursue that kind of route in whatever category it is too.
Yeah.
So there's several different other categories, even beyond sports nutrition, that are really interesting. I mean, I had a conversation with an ingredient supplier today, and we brainstormed the idea of making an edible cat treat that makes cat shit stink less. Because cat shit smells the fucking worst.
Terrible.
I mean, if you put a dog turd and a cat turd in front of me, which one am I going to push away first? It's going to be the cat shit because cat shit just stinks.
Would you touch it with your bare hand?
Fuck no. Fuck no. I don't want toxoplasmosis. Okay. I would happily take a bare foot and step on a dog turd 9 times out of 10 over a cat turd. But these are just little niche things that
it's a weird thing to think about.
We just don't think about this in the sports nutrition. And that just came up.
Yeah.
And a lot of this really clicked with me at the San Diego conference, where we were talking about peptides and AI and microbiome modulation and stuff. And I'm sitting over here and I'm I've got all my products planned out for 2024. When am I really going to take a really good whack at microbiome modulation? You're just not going to get that opportunity to be that creative and to innovate in that particular genre being married into a sports nutrition kind of company.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are Glaxon fans, don't be sad.
Yeah.
I'm still CSO and formulator at Glaxon.
Yep.
that's still a thing. And I still have plenty of great bangers that are coming out throughout the entire rest of the year. So like, hold on to your hats. Shit is going to be cool and it's going to be gnarly and it'll still be innovative. But at the same time, like if I want to do things that are like stick packs or gels or transdermals or gummies or beverage, I'm going to be able to do that over through what we are calling Savage Nutra.
Savage Nutra. What type of services are you going? I mean, you're going to make some products for you, right? We're going to make some products maybe for us for promotional reasons. We're just going to do some fun stuff.
Some of these things are just going to be like for novelty, for shits and giggles.
Yeah. But some of these things also, a potential entrepreneur who wants to launch a brand on Amazon per se can say, look, I don't know anything about the R&D process. Who does?
Yeah. And there's not a whole lot of people that you immediately kind of like knee jerk think of when it comes to like, well, gosh, I need a formulator, product developer, you know, who am I going to go to?
Yeah.
And, you know,
there's a few people that do this stuff. There are,
but I mean, they're also like not, you know, the level, I guess, of odd notoriety that I am.
Yeah. You're an acquired taste, but you, God dang, you sure are tasty. He's kombucha.
I'm the kombucha formulators. I'll do you real good once you get past that weird vinegary taste.
Do you have? You got a little list there. So these like services. What is this?
When it comes to consultation, formulation is the obvious. You know, because I am a product developer at heart, but
the R&D process is a lot more than just thinking up of an idea.
Well,
there's a lot more that goes to it. And I'm just going to speak from my perspective. We work with guys on R&D teams when we're making the labels. And if you don't have a good communication stream with somebody who knows also the label development process, just 4X whatever your cost is going to be. Because like, that's just how much more time it's going to take for everyone to try and figure out what the fuck is in your product.
Right.
And how the hell it's going to get made and all the different moving pieces in order to happen need to fall in line. And we are in perfect sync and communication with what those exact specifics are. You would be surprised on how many co-manufacturers or brands don't have a person in place to relay that information to their label designer.
Sure.
And we have to spend literal weeks going fishing for information that we have no business fishing for.
Well, it'd be nice to have somebody that would just compile all that for you, wouldn't it?
It would be super nice to have somebody say, here's a document with literally everything you need. Now just go make it look pretty.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Or
you know what? It wouldn't cost you 4 times more and take you 4 times longer.
Or the other thing is,
just saying.
Just feasibility. I mean, you could be a guy in a bar with a formula on a cocktail napkin, but you have no idea what it costs. Be like, oh, I want fucking 10 grams of citrulline and 10 grams of creatine, and I want the max dosages of everything, and it's going to be the best pre-workout. But you don't know that it's going to cost you, like, raw material wise, like $40, like right there, and be like, oh God, how am I going to make any profit on it if I'm going to try to sell it for $39.99? You're not. So understanding the costs that go into it, the raw material cost, and like helping a person who is just coming up with a brand design,
the
like
economics,
a pricing strategy.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like, are you a direct to consumer brand? Well, then maybe you can take less profit margin and you can put more into the product. Are you going to go for retail distribution? Well, then you need to scale your wholesale and have that scaled into the retail price. So you can, all these different parties can maintain profitability as well.
R&D pricing strategy.
And what do you mean as far as R&D pricing strategy? Because most of these people are not going to be like, as far as like their budget, you're strategizing pricing within your research and development of the product itself. Sure.
As a consumer packaged good, not just as a formula, as a consumer packaged good.
Yeah.
This is your all-in cost to get this made, and let's maybe tweak these few things in a creative way so you can still get all of the levers you want to pull, but let's maybe find a way to get it at a price that's better for your strategy.
Right. Because you could have multiple ingredients that have varying costs that are going toward the same mechanism.
Right.
Like those guys, dropping the creatine nitrate and using that Velox blend in there with the 1.2 grams per serving on both citrulline and arginine. It's efficient because there is synergy there. and they're saving a bunch of money, and you can kind of see that in that new C4.
You can still use it as a marketing tool too.
Yeah,
So it's kind of win-win-win.
Or they could have just dumped 3 grams into citrulline, but I mean that's kind of boring because so many other people also have the 3 grams of citrulline as like the entry level to any kind of nitric oxide relevance in a pump product.
Yeah.
So knowing options, like how could you save money and all that?
Then there's the innovation play. You're just, let's face it, you're like a year or two ahead of pretty much anyone else doing this when it comes to researching. And you have the relationships to know what's coming.
Of course. I mean,
that's what people don't understand is like, what's coming because you know the people who are developing it, and they're letting you know it because they know that you're the guy who's going to help them ultimately like put it to market.
Well, not only put it to market, but also like spread that message to help like educate their sales team. Like, here's how you're going to want to sell this because here's your clinical data that you have. Here are the endpoints that you have. And, how are you going to relay this to not just like your customers on the brand side, because they're going to need to understand about how they're going to end up relaying it to their customers that are the general consumers.
So you've got a lot of respect and clout just on the ingredient side, which gives you, I would say, almost like a cheat code sort of access to information that most people probably don't have unless they're leveraging high amounts of money, which in some cases they are. But let's say in the case of like a brand like C4, I mean, how well like established are the relationships of like the people, at Cellucor with their ingredient suppliers?
I would say that they're pretty well established.
Because they leverage a lot of money.
Because they leverage a lot of money.
But do they get them really excited about the innovation of the things that they're creating?
Probably not.
But you do.
They're probably just like, we're going to throw this money out here. You need to get us an ingredient that does X, Y, Z, and we want an exclusivity on it. We want to be the first ones to market with it. And it's like the Pepsi pump. They're like fighting for relevance, and yet there's nothing published at all. There might be clinical trials ongoing. I'm not going to discount that. Pepsi Strong's definitely pulled a rabbit out of a. Or,
they're probably paying
Neurotos
for it. Let's just be honest.
Pulled a rabbit out of a hat.
Probably paying for whatever is going on. But
I hope so.
The point is I think that what makes you a little bit different in this space than what most people are doing, and there are only a few, is that you just have very unique relationships with ingredient suppliers in which you have access to information that sometimes they don't even know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've had several calls like that with ingredient suppliers where it's like, we're thinking about taking this ingredient to market. Here are the clinicals. Like, a good example was this one call I had with a company, and they're like, well, our main clinical endpoints are like it decreases visceral fat mass, which is great. Everyone wants to lose belly fat, right? But I'm like digging into it. I'm like, how is this happening? How is this happening? And I said, where are the rest of your clinical studies? And they're like, well, we got this one, this one, this one. And I'm like, it's not here. It's not in any of this. So I was like, do you have any unpublished studies? And they're like, yes, we do. And I go, does it have biomarkers? They're like, yes, it does. And we finally got to a point where I got all the different assays of the biomarkers they were looking for. And sure enough, like the fingerprint of the mechanism of action of how it was decreasing visceral fat mass was in there.
You were able to help them build a story, which then helps them build a marketing strategy around it.
And it helps me because I know what product to place it in now, because I know how it's going to play well with all the other ingredients that I have.
Sure, yeah. Do you also help with flavoring?
Yeah, I'm got a handful of different flavor suppliers that are my go-tos. And one of the things is when I'm like forging my relationships with different flavor companies, I'm like, I know you have everything under the sun. What are your bangers? What are the ones that are going to hit a home run every time? And then figuring out, and that takes time too, to find out which ones are like the best of the best from any, given flavor company. That takes a lot of time. Yeah. And you could be, clawing your way through the dark, trying to figure it out for months and months and months, just trying to find out what's good from what's not. And, luckily enough, I'm able to identify that stuff pretty quickly. Yeah. Or even within like any given fruit, like within lemons, there's lemonade, there's lemon cream, there's Sicilian lemon, there's, like a Valencia orange versus a typical orange versus a mandarin versus a tangerine, and finding out how those things are going to play a little bit differently. Maybe their orange is not as potent as their mandarin, but you can play with those different levels in order to find something that actually like has more of a popping kind of a taste of orange. And one of the things that, that I've got a history with is like sensory flavors. How can you do things that are just beyond the actual flavor that give your mouth and the nerves inside like the oral cavity some sort of a stimulation that is something that complements the flavor profile? And then there's savory. And savory is something that I've had a fascination with. And only recently have I gotten actual luck in developing a product that is a chicken-based flavor. Yeah.
See, all very exciting stuff.
Yeah.
For Savage Nutra.
Yeah.
I'm super stoked I'm jacked on you. I've been wanting this you've been doing this for a while. I'm like, dude, you got to find a way to have a creative outlet where you can go and innovate some more, where you're not kind of stuck in a bubble.
But then there's like also like simple services, like, just like the development of a simple supplement facts panel,
For sure. I can't tell you how valuable that is to somebody like me, where if we're charging,
not just someone like you, but even for like a contract manufacturer, there's many contract manufacturers that don't provide a finalized supplement facts panel to
especially
their
not a
label
compliant
designers.
one. What about label compliance?
I mean, it depends. Like, definitely when it comes to the supplement facts panels, the order of ingredients, the other ingredients panel, the claims that are made on the front of the label, those have to tie into the clinical studies. You can't just say whatever you want to.
Is that something that you're going to help with?
I mean, it's definitely something that's in the wheelhouse for sure. Yeah. So, doing like a final check over on that, I've had clients and stuff that, they're trying to make claims about cancer and stuff on their labels. And it's just like, before you go to print with this, you may want to take this out because, you're making a drug claim here. And
do you also have experience with like nutritional facts panels at all?
Yeah, definitely. When it comes to like protein is always a nutritional facts panel kind of thing. These beverages right here, these are nutritional facts panels as well. And separating the food from beverage, or the food and beverage side from supplements. So it's dietary supplements. It's also food and beverage. It's also obviously pet care with talking about the cat shit treats and everything.
So you can help with like food, beverage, pill, powder, gel, topical, maybe like a patch, like pretty much anything that any consumer good that has any sort of like bio effect on
in addition to the whole, raw materials side of things.
Yes.
So, there's a couple of clients that I've had where, we're just kind of like looking at a rebrand of like a trademarked ingredient and finding a way where we can reposition that one and market it more effectively to where it kind of resonates with the consumers a little bit more. And it's not that it's like a bad ingredient. It's just that there's new science that has come out where it gives this ingredient more functionality and more relatability to like your everyday person than it had previously. So it's helping these raw material and ingredient companies break out of the box that they've had previously and show people like brands and consumers, like, not only, do you know this ingredient for this thing over here, but it also now like does this.
So you're working with raw material company suppliers too, with helping them innovate and strategize their.
Well, and there's a lot of different ways that I'm doing that. Not only just like in the marketing, and like I'm also helping with sales of different raw materials and helping them with like clinical trial design and stuff, because that plays into the marketing. What different endpoints you're getting in your clinical trials are really going to be what dictate your marketing and your claim set and all that other kind of stuff, and how well you're going to be able to sell it to consumers.
Right. Well, that's awesome, Joey.
It's a fun ride.
And you got this cool office now.
Yeah.
So you can party here.
Yeah.
I'm a little sad. I wish you would have come closer to me.
This is a mile from my house. This is great.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I could walk here.
Yeah. Yeah. Happy for you, man.
Yeah. It's exciting. So, I've been working on this for a little while, but like, as far as like getting the office and everything, it's probably taken like a week or 2 weeks.
Put it all together.
Yeah. And we're just staging the equipment and stuff in my house. I wasn't sure if I was going to like, I don't know, find a office in an RV park and do this like Breaking Bad, or if I was going to find someplace legit like this, but I'm glad it's turned out this way.
Yeah. And so, just looking forward to the next podcasts. We'll be wrapping this up, right?
Yeah.
The next two podcasts are going to be on the road, y'all. So like we said, one's going to be at the Arnold, where we're going to try and do this, fundraiser sort of interactive style podcast. The next one's going to be
Multi-guest.
Yeah, hopefully we have sort of a
It's going to be like a
rotating
late
chair.
night talk show.
Exactly. And we hope to make it fun.
And now for our next guest.
We'll have beverages. Ed's coming. Blair's going to be here with us, helping run the cameras. Get with us if you want to do a donation and get a seat. I know we're probably going to do it for like 2 hours long. So maybe if you get like 20 or 30 minutes, we'll probably have, 4 or 5 guests. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. We'll try and
We'll go
crowd
as long
control.
as guests want to come on, I guess.
Yeah, it's a complete experiment for the most part. And then so the week after that, we're going to be doing not the week after, but the week after that.
It's Expo West.
It's Expo West, where we have a few other things sort of lined up. I think we're going to do a few other podcasts, maybe not just Supworks, but we're going to also do other podcasts that we're going to produce with other people in our wheelhouse. And then we'll do a Supworks also. I don't know if it's going to be like on a location or if we'll just do it at our Airbnb. I don't know yet, but we do have lots of people there that we can have guests that we know that are going to be there. There's a few already that I know that are kind of like teed up and have expressed interest. So we can't say who it is yet because we don't have it completely locked in. And then hopefully going into April, we'll have a new set of guests. We have some heavy hitters that have kind of committed to doing this. It's been hard over the past like 2 weeks getting people to come in just because I think everyone's sort of like gearing up for
everyone's
this
getting ready
Expo
for the
season.
Expos. Yeah, you bet.
And then we were just all, pretty burned out just from our bum rush getting this thing launched. So
6 episodes. This is our 7th.
yeah, I mean, it's been good. We've gotten plenty of subscribers. We've gotten tons of viewers. It's been growing pretty rapidly. So I think it's been overall a success, and we're looking forward to build on to it and stay consistent with it. We plan on doing that all the way throughout the rest of the year. So everyone look forward to this thing growing and just getting more and more kick ass.
All right. Stay tuned. Let's take this show on the road.
Let's go.
We'll see you next week.